Hey you guys, I am back with a second video. So this video is step two. So step two, I want to talk just a little bit about this process. This process is a very unique process. If you are a color pencil artist or if you're a beginner trying to start color pencils, this may not be a process that you may like because it is indirect. So having an underpainting for a color pencil is a very unique way of starting the color pencil process. It's a little bit similar to a grisaille painting. So if you don't know what a grisaille painting is, pretty much it is a monochromatic painting, and it could be a grayscale value painting, and you glaze color over it. So it's literally taking from that same process, that same method. So which is quite different. Some artists, or even young artists, they love just going directly into a color pencil dry painting. I like the indirect method of a color pencil painting. So I just wanted to talk just a little bit about my process because I know my process is very unique, and I also know that not a lot of artists enjoy the layering process, because that's what this is pretty much is. There is a point where I'm going to burnish my color pencils, and if you're just like, Dree, what is burnish? Burnishing is an actual technique in color pencil paintings where you want to use heavy pressure. You are flattening your the the grooves of the actual paper when you are burnishing. And typically, once you burnish, have this heavy kind of layer of color pencil pigment. You can't really go back over your that layer. Once that layer is down, it's down, and you're pretty much done. And really, what it is your paper is not going to allow you to move forward because it's not going to be able to take in any more pigment onto the surface. So I do like using the burnishing method because it just, I don't know, it's a traditional way. I like the way it looks, and it is a process that I like. So I do want to talk about a few things just very quick. So as you guys know, if you watched the video, which is basically step one of this process, you know that I have a very limited palette. My students have a 12 or 24 Prismacolor 10, which is a very limited palette. So I don't have of um, all of the colors that I probably should use or could use, and I'm going to have to mix some colors, and some colors may not look the same as what I am seeing in my image, or at least in my still life, because I am drawn from life. So what I tend to do is, because I have a minimum palette, before I even start, and hopefully you guys can actually see this, but before I start, I pretty much try to pick out the colors that I actually see in my object. So I would go through all of my pencils, look at my objects, which you guys will see my insert. I have a cone that is purple, I have a cube that is yellow, and I also have a sphere that is neon pink. So what I do is, once I establish what is the local color of each object, I go through my palette and I pick out colors that I closely resemble, or that closely resembles what I'm seeing. So I pick out a local color, which I'm pretty sure that this color that I had to mix here is pretty much the local color for my purple cone. There are other colors that I pulled out of my tin. There is a warm violet, which is probably a red violet, as well as there is a regular violet pencil, and there is a desaturated violet, and then there is a blue violet. So I pulled out these colors because these are colors that I actually do see in my cone. Another color that I see that's in my reflected light is my cube, and my cube is yellow. So I put out a desaturated yellow. So if you hear me saying desaturated, that just means that the color on the color wheel is being pulled down to the grays. So it's not highly saturated or intense. So I pulled out these colors because that's just how I work with my process. And once again, this is my process. There's a lot of different processes out there. This is just mine. So I pulled out these colors because I like to make sure I have colors that are in my shadow mask and colors that are in my light mask. And I kind of swatch them out just so I can see what these colors look like ahead of time before I even get started on the actual process. That way I am prepared and ready. So I did that for, and not 100% yet, but I'm going to do that for all of my objects. That way I have my colors prepared and ready while I am rendering out these objects. Another thing I want to talk about is although that is my method of choosing my colors out of my palette, there's different types of methods. So the method that I chose was probably a little bit more of getting a mid-tone violet and getting a light violet and also having a dark violet. And really what I kind of choose is that's using tints where I'm adding white to the violet, and it's also using shades when I'm adding black, or you can add gray for shades. Another way to use this kind of idea, you can use a not a mono, you can use an analogous family of colors. And what I mean by that is you can use red violet, violet, and also blue violet. So having an analogous of colors gives you kind of three colors or a trio of colors that also helps you model the form of your objects. So having a monochromatic kind of idea of selecting your colors also models the object. And what I mean by that, you're turning the object, you're giving it 3D form. If you're using analogous colors, that also is a trio. It's also helping you turn the form, and also it helps move you from a lighter value to a darker value. So I'm not going to go too much into color theory because in this class, in the actual class, I do a lecture on color theory. So my students will have an idea of it. If you're not in this class, which is basically drawing with color, I would suggest just search the University of YouTube, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find information on color theory. So one step that I'm going to start with is I actually picked out, right, all of the local colors of my objects. So this step is a little bit new because I'm trying to figure out how to very much simplify this down in an easy form or way of putting down color within this process. So this is going to help me glaze color on top. So I'm going to use a very thin layer of color over my underpainting overall, just so I can get a local color for all of my objects and also get a local color for some of my shadow shapes as well. From here, I'm going to use my full colors that I picked out that are here for my cone. So I'm gonna start with the cone, and then I'm gonna move into my cube and also my sphere. And my goal is to get all these objects down and done in this video. If that doesn't fully happen, I might do a part 3 that helped me complete the project. So what I am going to do, you guys, I am going to get quiet and I'm going to start the process. Hey everyone, this is my first time just doing an outro. I wanted to pop in really quick on the video because I know that the video ended abruptly. All honesty, you guys, I was getting tired. I was getting tired, my hand was getting tired, and I was like, girl, just stop. So I decided to just stop because I really do not like drawing when I am tired. Because as artists or professional, young artists, amateur, when you're tired, you're not 100% paying attention, and I'd rather take a break, come back to it with very fresh eyes. So, if you're just kind of like, oh, this video ended quick, there will be a part three. And just make sure that you are pretty much subscribed, hit the notification button. That way you can pretty much be notified when I upload part three. That way we can finish out this actual demo. So, you guys, if you're looking at this intro and me talking over my photo, I look a hot mess. It's very early in Texas, so I was just like, you know what? Just gonna do a voiceover. But if you got this far in the video, just thank you. Thank you so much for watching my demos. I truly appreciate each and every one of you when it comes to these demos and the support as well. So I will see you guys in the next demo. Yay, art, woohoo! Bye, guys.